First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that if she doesn't want me in the delivery room, she can find someone else to drive her to the hospital? I can add more information if people need or want it, but I'll try to only include what I think is relevant. My wife is pregnant and has told me that she wants her sister in the delivery room. She is only allowed one person, so this means I'm out and won't be with her when she gives birth to our baby. It would be an understatement to say that I was disappointed, crushed, hurt, etc. when she told me this is what she was thinking. I had been excited about being there with her and experiencing that moment ever since she told me she was pregnant. Really, even since we started trying to get pregnant. I just always assumed she would want me there. Note the distinction here between me expecting to be there versus expecting her to want me there. I am pointing this out because what's worse than the disappointment is her rejecting me and basically telling me that she feels like someone else could give her better support while giving birth. That's really made me feel like a piece of crap and worthless husband and father. I've tried not to take it to heart or personally, but I don't know how else to take that kind of rejection. It doesn't help that she's really given no reason for why she feels like her sister would do a better job of supporting her. I know that her sister has had kids herself, but when I asked my wife if that was part of it, she said not really. I then asked her if I had done something wrong or failed in some way or if she was upset with me, and she said it wasn't anything I'd done, and she wasn't trying to punish me. She just felt like it would be better to have her sister there. I've asked for clarifications, and that's as specific as she gets. It doesn't seem like she has a real list of reasons why her sister was chosen. It's just a feeling. Either that or she is lying to me and won't give me the real reason. I had hoped she'd change her mind, but she's now confirmed this is how it will be. All of the things I've written about led me to tell her that if she really feels that way, then I think it'd be better if her sister or someone else drove her to the hospital. Otherwise, I'm just her taxi driver. Once she realized that I was serious, she lost it and told me I was acting like a child and pouting. I can accept that it's her choice, but if she doesn't want my support in the delivery room, then why would she want it on the way to the hospital or at any other time? That's illogical, so there's no point in me doing that either. She decided to go stay with her family for a few days, and since she has, I am being constantly bombarded by both sides of the family and friends of ours telling me to let this go and stop being an a-hole. I know they are trying to help, but I don't think they understand the situation and just want it resolved so they can all feel better. Just looking to confirm if I am as bad as they think I am. Now for the top comments. You're not an a-hole for wanting to be there the moment your child is born. You are a huge a-hole for punishing her by saying she can find her own ride to the hospital, and that you'll withhold other support on the day. Before you downvote me, read what he said again. Things are obviously different because it's a frigging pandemic. Now, a patient only goes one support person. Maybe your wife has good reasons for wanting her sister there. Maybe she feels she'll get better support from someone who listens to what she, the woman in labor, wants. Someone who won't be pissy and petty if things don't go their way. It's only very recently in history that fathers were even allowed in the delivery room, no matter what they wanted. You can do your best to explain why you feel you have the right to be there, and more importantly, that you'll be the right person to support your wife. But if you carry out your threats to make her find her own way to the hospital, and sulk because you're not in the room, then you will most definitely be proving her point, and also you're the a-hole. In my opinion, the fact that he's punishing her by saying she won't drive her to the hospital while she's in labor shows exactly why she doesn't want him in there. You're the a-hole, by the way. That's exactly my point. A lot of commenters here are focusing on how he should be in the room. It's a magical moment. It's his baby too, etc. Very few are noticing his crappy response. Well then, clearly you don't need my support, so find your own way to the hospital. I can't believe people aren't picking up on that and are calling the wife immature. The way to support a woman in labor is by asking what she wants and doing your best to make it happen, not by being a pissy baby before the actual baby shows up, in my humble opinion. I would be deeply and forgivably hurt if I were in his shoes. Sometimes we don't give the best reactions to that type of hurt. But you are not the one pushing a baby out of your birth canal. The husband's desire to be there is 100% understandable. It just doesn't exactly trump her desire. Women's body doing the work, not men's. Women die in childbirth, not men. To men, it is a magical moment. To women, it is a magical moment, but also scary and/or painful and/or all kinds of things. So why can't you let her make that decision after carefully explaining why you want to be there and how you feel? You're the a-hole. Women still die giving birth. Regularly. This is a dangerous task. She decided who she wants there. Perhaps because she thinks you'll be more focused on your feelings than her health. Given your response to her choice, I can see why she'd feel that way. You might find yourself divorced if you keep this up. I think she already said why she didn't want him in delivery room, and he decided it's not good enough reason. Edit. I appreciate the comments, even the ones that were harsh. But as it turns out, this post is moot. After talking with some of you last night, I reached out to my wife this morning about the state of things in our relationship. Mostly, I wanted to know if she was planning to come home anytime soon. She said that she wasn't, as I had suspected. She confirmed what I'd guess, which is that she has no plans to come back anytime soon, so someone in her family will be driving her anyway. I'm not really upset by that. I still feel it's for the best, and I think she does too. We'll see what happens after the baby is born, but I don't think it's likely we'll stay together. And given our differences and differing views on marriage, that may be for the best anyway. I feel like our relationship has run its course and we're not a good fit for each other. I had already contacted a divorce attorney just to discuss a possible separation and things I might need to do to prepare for divorce. So I'll go ahead and start making plans assuming we're divorcing. I probably will end up doing a paternity test so I can confirm the baby is actually mine, since some of you are saying you don't believe it is. Now, for the next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving the hospital while my wife was in labor? So, my wife sometimes likes to choose her mom over me when her mom gets all upset. I guess she doesn't like to see her mom sad, even though you can tell she is faking it. Like when we were going to go on a relaxing date, she canceled it because her mom wanted to go to the mall with our firstborn. And when my wife said she had plans, her mom sobbed crocodile tears, and she went and said we can do the date later. Well, we didn't go on that date till 2 months later, because I didn't have days to take off when she was off. This is one example. So a few days ago, my wife was going to go into labor with our second, and she had promised I can be in the room until my mother-in-law told her a whole sub-story about how she can wait outside and is too impatient, and my wife caved in. And when I took her to the hospital, I was ordered to stay outside with our son. Now at this point, I felt very upset and angry, so I called my sister and asked if me and my son could stay over for a day, and she said yes. So I left with my son, went to the house, got some clothes and left. I texted my wife that I'm staying over with my sister with my son and that we can talk after she feels better. After that, I talked to my sister about it while my son was hanging out with his cousin, and then my wife texted me saying what was going on. So I told her about how I feel upset that she keeps choosing her mom over me, and that when she feels better, we can talk about it further. She understood, and so for the past 2 days when I'm not at the house, my mother-in-law is there to help, and when I'm there, I just do all the normal stuff and some housework. I was starting to wonder if I am an A, because my wife looks upset and I just feel bad. Sorry if this was more of a rant or doesn't make sense. I'm just not in the right state of mind. Edit. A lot of people ask for an edit. So here it is. 1. No, I was not in the waiting room. I was outside in the car with my 4-year-old son. 2. We had discussed that I would be in the room for a while, even right before we went to the hospital. I had only found out I wasn't allowed in after the doctors asked who my wife wanted, and mother-in-law pleaded to be in, and my wife chose her. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's not your mother-in-law's kid, it's yours. She's acting like an entitled psycho grandma, and it's embarrassing. You missed the birth of your second child, because your mother-in-law guilt trips your wife like it's going out of style. I hope you and your wife work through this. Yeah, I would suggest some boundaries and some couples counseling ASAP, OP. This is only going to get worse as your wife goes through the postpartum phase. I would not delay. Good luck. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. But this is a weird family dynamic, it seems. You just missed the birth of your child and you guys are tiptoeing around it. I would be livid if I was you. I just don't want to blow up at my wife, especially because she is still recovering. Everyone sucks here. Your mother-in-law sucks for being manipulative and having no boundaries. Your wife sucks for kicking you out of the labor and delivery room. But you suck more for taking your valid stand at the worst possible time. Your wife never should have chosen her mother over you, especially not then. But your ideal course of action was call sister, ask her to come get your son, you stay in the hospital until your next child is born, help your wife during her recovery, get home, and then talk to your wife about how completely unacceptable this has all been. You know, there is this virus COVID. Ever heard of it? You can't just stay in the hospital waiting right now. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole, 27 female, for telling my sister, 19 female, that she needs to move out because we want to convert her room into a nursery after our baby is born? My sister has been living in our condo for the last 2 years since it is located in the city and is only a 10-minute drive from her campus. My in-laws gifted us the condo when we got married and the mortgage is all paid off, so we never charge any rent. It only has 3 bedrooms and we use one for our home office, one for our bedroom, and let my sister stay in the third one. My husband and I decided that we were finally in a good enough financial situation this year to have a baby, and let my sister know that she needed to move out before the baby was born. We want to convert her room into the nursery. However, she's been complaining to everyone that we are kicking her out in the middle of a pandemic and has been asking us to convert the home office into the nursery so that she can keep her room. I do feel bad for her since she's had to take out a ton of loans to cover her college tuition already, and the rent prices in New York are insane. But we need our home office since we both work from home and feel like we have to do what is best for our baby first. Am I the a-hole? Edit. My husband and I have been waiting to have kids for years, so waiting another 2 years for her to finish college is not an option for us. We both work from home and need separate rooms when we work, as we do have a lot of meetings during the day. We never promised my sister that she could stay with us all 4 years of her college. But since we had the space and she asked, we were fine with her staying. Starting a family is the most important thing to us right now, and I have to put my husband in our family plans before my sister. I will definitely be helping my sister with her apartment hunting though. Not the a-hole. You're not even pregnant yet, so hardly kicking her out. You've given her plenty of time to get organized, save up to move, etc. However, if the pandemic is still very serious at the time the baby is expected, and she hasn't been able to find anywhere, it would be good if you let her stay until things clear up and she can move safely. Especially because most people find it easier to have a baby in a bassinet next to their bed for the first few months, just because of sheer exhaustion. This is true, but the sheer amount of other crap you have on hand really makes it easier to have a room dedicated for the clothes, blankets, future toys, /clothes, extra diapers, /wipes, and the million things you bought to prepare for the first year. No a-holes here / you're the a-hole. It seems like you and your sister are in wildly different financial situations. She's underwater in debt while in school in an expensive city. Your in-laws had a financial ability to gift you a home, and your mortgage is paid off while you both work full-time. Now, your sister's financial situation is not technically your responsibility. She is technically an adult, if only 19. But especially with the pandemic situation, I can very much see why she feels overwhelmed and put out by you and your husband, especially as during the pandemic, many people are working from home in studios or with no home offices. By many standards, a full home office is a luxury, and she probably feels upset that you're unwilling to make some adjustments for her. But like I said, none of this is technically your responsibility. You have the right to use your home as you see fit and have a child whenever you like. So, a few things. 1. Did your sister assume she was welcome for all of college? If so, I can very much understand why she feels kicked out before she thought she would be. 2. If you conclude she must move out, help her apartment hunt. It's overwhelming anywhere, but especially in the city. Some guidance there would likely make her feel much more at ease. 3. If possible, can you gift or loan her money for a deposit and moving costs so she doesn't have to take out high-interest loans? Sure, she can take out more school loans or get a job on top of school to pay for rent. But there are so many upfront costs to moving, and she clearly can't afford it. Be aware that as a young person with limited credit history and a part-time job, she will likely not be approved for a huge number of apartments. 4. Like I said, you have zero responsibility to house her and you have already been generous. But for a moment, I would try to put yourself in her shoes. You and your husband really have it made and are quite lucky, and life is really hard for a lot of people right now. Many people are leaning on family and friends more than ever for help. 5. Your real sister who is in a really tough spot likely feels like you are prioritizing a non-existent baby over her. It is your apartment, but it is worth noting that having 3 bedrooms in the city is quite a luxury. You could be damaging your relationship and ensuring your sister gets much further into debt by having her move out mid-pandemic. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.